Key point 1. Love is a skill everyone needs to work on. People often take their parents' marriage and relationship as a model for their future love life. They bring the same behavioral patterns and unhealthy strategies into their adult relationships. Some people even decide that marriage isn't for them due to the negative examples they had witnessed in childhood. The same happened to Sue Johnson. She was analyzing her parents' approaches to love, and as a little girl, she was disappointed to learn that love brings pain. However, later love pulled her in, and she got married. A childhood interest in love didn't leave her in adulthood. Johnson went on to study psychology and eventually began working with couples at the University of British Columbia in Vancouver. Mesmerized by the intensity of their struggles, she decided to learn through their experiences. Exploring the conflicts, she found that romantic relationships are based on emotional connections without any intellectual grounding. So basing relationship advice on insights alone isn't effective. Studying warring partners, she and her thesis advisor, Les Greenberg, developed a new type of couple therapy called emotionally focused therapy. Their research proved the higher effectiveness of the EFT as opposed to other types of therapy, fewer conflicts between partners, while the satisfaction with the connection and closeness grew. The key is to change your view of your relationship and accept that you are mutually attached to your partner emotionally, just like children are to their parents. The EFT approach helps to sustain and nurture relationships and deepen the understanding of love connections. With its help, you can build a long-lasting bond or cure your current one. Stay tuned to discover more about EFT, as well as helpful advice on how to ensure your relationship will last a lifetime. To strengthen the connection, you need to be open, attuned, and responsive to each other. Key point 2. Your relationships with others contribute to your total well-being. People often overuse the word love in culture, media, marketing, and everyday conversations. However, they can't agree on its definition. Whether it's a win-win bargain, a sentimental construct invented in France, or a biological need. Even though love is at the top of human needs nowadays, it remains a mystical feeling in many ways. The main reason why romantic relationships stand out today is that humans tend to live in more isolated conditions than they did in past centuries. We spend more time working and less time communicating with other people. Therefore, your partner becomes a significant part of your life and affects your moods, behaviors, and physical health. People prioritize happiness in love over career and financial success, but don't know how to build a relationship that can satisfy this need. The past 20 years have changed the human perception of love as a need for reproduction. Instead, a love bond with a significant other is a source of safety from the ups and downs in our lives. British psychiatrist John Bowlby had a new idea opposing the widespread belief that patients' psychological issues stem from their internal conflicts. He claimed that problems often come from real connections between people. After a series of experiments, Bowlby developed the attachment theory, which explains that people's behavioral patterns and strategies in adult relationships with others are based on the quality of childhood bonds with their parents. Studying Charles Darwin's evolution theory, he came up with the idea that romantic relationships are a crucial survival technique. At the time, the public rejected his arguments as relying on others seemed immature. Later, psychologists Phil Shaver and Cindy Hazan found that secure romantic relationships help partners deal with other people and the world. However, both parties require reassurance, emotional availability, and closeness. Insecurity in a relationship leads to anxiety, anger, and avoidance. The quality of a relationship is essential, as unhealthy bonds can cause mental problems, while a secure connection releases tension and can ease physical pain and anxiety. Negative relationships are bad for your health, as shown in a study by researchers at Case Western Reserve University, Cleveland. For example, those unhappy in marriages are 3 times more likely to have a heart attack. Key point 3. If you want a happy relationship, you need to keep working for it. When a couple faces distress, it could be because they don't feel emotionally safe with each other, and the fights are veiled protests over their emotional disconnection. The anger, criticism, and demands are desperate pleas to reestablish a safe connection. Neuroscientist Joseph Ledoux explains that losing the connection with your loved one jeopardizes your sense of security and triggers an alarm in the brain's amygdala. People are afraid of having disagreements with their significant others as they don't want to worsen the connection. Couples with weak relationships experience overwhelming fear that makes them demanding and clingy or causes them to detach and protect themselves. Moreover, partners unconsciously use strategies to cope with the fear of abandonment. Extended periods of disconnection bring more negative communication to a couple's lives. Tense exchanges between you and your partner can evolve quickly and become chaotic if you don't slow down to see the turning points and weigh up your options. Bowlby explains that when you feel uncertain or vulnerable in the world or sense a threat to your relationship, it's a sign that your relationship is going through attachment problems. Ted Houston, in his research, proves that when marriages fail, it's not a result of increasing conflicts. Instead, it's caused by decreasing affection and low emotional responsiveness. Matters of tension are less critical, but the lack of intimate interactions plays a key role, as people need more responsive communication. Therefore, EFT hinges on 7 conversations that can help to activate emotional responsiveness, which is vital for keeping love alive. 1. Identifying demon dialogues. 2. Recognizing raw spots. 3. Returning to rocky moments. 4. Holding tight. 5. Forgiving. 6. Bonding through physicality. And 7. Keeping your love alive. Moreover, EFT is based on 3 major principles. 1. Accessibility. This means staying open to your partner despite experiencing insecurity in your relationship. So instead of stepping out of the connection, you try to tune in. 2. Responsiveness. You can respond to your lover's emotions, feelings, and fears. You show that you care about their emotional distrust and try to comfort them. 3. Engagement. This refers to emotional engagement, meaning that partners exchange the unique attention we give only to significant others. Conversations with these 3 components are called ARE, conversations, and are more common in healthy relationships. Key point 4. Paying attention to your partner's experiences. The 7 EFT conversations aim to stop the downward spiral into emotional starvation and eliminate the separation that poisons many relationships. With their help, you can see the logic behind love patterns and how conversations build them. Unresolved distress in your relationship can affect your ability to heal from past traumas. The first step to effecting change is noticing the patterns that harm your relationship. You can get stuck in 3 basic patterns, demon dialogues, when you find connecting safely with your partner challenging. Partners use 2 major strategies to protect themselves and keep the connection with each other. One way focuses on avoidance, so you try to stay cold-hearted and deny the importance of attachment to your loved one. The alternative is to follow your anxious thoughts and demand attention from your partner. This strategy you adopt when you feel disconnected partly reflects your natural temperament and the lessons you've learned in your past and present relationships. The first demon dialogue is finding the bad guy. It aims to throw the blame on your partner to protect yourself. Emotional distress that ensues leads to mutual attacks. Feelings of vulnerability and uncontrolled reactions characterize this pattern of responses. To gain control, you define your partner negatively. Once this pattern becomes habitual, it forms a feedback loop that encourages attack. As a result, the relationship transforms from a safe space to a war zone. The second demon dialogue, protest polka, is the most common. According to John Gottman, a psychologist from the University of Washington, couples who show this behavior at the beginning of their relationship last less than 5 years. In this dialogue, one partner demands a response to comfort their anxiety from disconnection, and the other protests. Couples find it hard to recognize this pattern as it is less evident than in the first dialogue. It can also happen between siblings, parents, and children. The third demon dialogue is freeze and flee. It's the last stage of conflict with your partner when one of you goes silent. The couple reaches this point when the critical partner gives up trying and the aggressive partner can finally detach. The last straw that can end a relationship is the freeze and flee period. Each relationship is unique and triggers a different pattern. Once you recognize these negative cycles, you can prevent unhealthy coping mechanisms. Key point 5. Conflict is inevitable, so be ready to diffuse tension. Everyone is capable of hurting their partner with careless words and actions. Almost everyone has at least one raw spot that can cause damage when attacked. A raw spot is a sensitive topic that triggers complicated feelings as it reminds a person about their past or current relationships where an attachment need was ignored. Once your partner hits this raw spot, you feel vulnerable and prone to use demon dialogues. As a result, the person feels emotionally deprived or deserted. For instance, a man who overreacts to any tiny hint that his partner may be interested in another man could do this because his first wife openly cheated on him. When marriages fail, it's not increasing conflict that is the cause. It is decreasing affection and emotional responsiveness. Sue Johnson, Ph.D. When you feel emotionally deprived or deserted, raw spots can arise in a happy relationship. They can also occur during significant transitions or crises when the need for connection and attachment increases and is not forthcoming. Demon dialogues in your relationship signal that your partner rubs your hypersensitive spot and you try to cope with pain using these unhealthy patterns. However, in this case, it's not enough to recognize the demon dialogues. You need to figure out your raw spots with your partner, too. A secure connection from a responsive partner can transform painful feelings into happier ones. 2 significant symptoms occur when the raw spot is triggered. First is the unexpected radical change in your emotions in the conversation. For example, you're having fun together and suddenly your facial expression has changed due to anger. Second, you're likely to overreact to a seemingly minor offense. If you notice these symptoms, slowly share your fears with your partner, encouraging them to do the same. To rebuild the connection, partners need to cool down the argument and bring a sense of emotional safety to the relationship. You must return to the rocky moment more safely. You both need to work together to curtail negative dialogue and diffuse insecurities. It is possible to have differences without slipping into demon dialogues and rubbing each other's raw spots without anxiety or withdrawal. Connect emotionally with your lover to restore trust and ensure you can safely open up your wounds. Did you know? You can become a better parent for your kids if your relationship with your partner is secure. Key point 6. An effective discussion requires embracing problematic topics. A great way to build a secure bond is to focus on your partner as intensely as you did at the beginning of your relationship. You can do this by creating more engaging moments that make you feel connected. The hold me tight conversation helps rebuild closeness and ensures healthy emotional responses to your partner's needs. Expressing your needs coherently to your partner invites them to a new and better dialogue. The fourth conversation involves answering two crucial questions. 1. What is my biggest fear? Elaborate on your raw spots and past traumas together. And 2. What are my needs in a relationship? Try to be as coherent as possible in explaining your expectations and how your partner can fulfill them. Research proves that hold me tight conversations lead to deeper connections between lovers and trigger the release of oxytocin, the hormone that calms anxiety and increases openness. Certain events do more than just harm your partner's feelings. They can harm them so deeply that it changes their world. These harmful events are called relationship traumas. People in a romantic relationship expect emotional responses at moments of crisis. Therefore, the lack of support brings a sense of insecurity to your connection. The way out of such traumas lies in healing them with your loved one, which brings us to the next conversation, forgiving. There are 6 steps to forgiveness. 1. The hurt person needs to express their feelings and describe what they experienced. Try to be open, even though it's hard. 2. The one who injures needs to show empathy and be emotionally present. 3. Partners have to reassure each other of their support. 4. The injurer must take responsibility for the wound caused and show that they regret it. 5. It's the moment to have a hold me tight conversation to reconnect after being hurt. And 6. The lovers must agree on a new version of their story that captures the traumatizing event and creates new dialogues. Throughout all this, remember that even though your partner makes you happy, they can also be a source of pain. Injuring situations occur in every relationship, but you must find a healthy way out. Key point 7. The more you understand your sexuality, the happier you will be. At the start of a relationship, lovers experience obsessive passion for each other. In this way, nature connects them. Biologically, sexual intercourse creates a bond so relationships can last. But that wild passion is not enough to keep the relationship alive. Sensual lovemaking is the goal. This physical bond helps with the emotional one and enhances it. To feel secure in bed, lovers need to be emotionally available. When this happens, they feel open to exploring their sexuality and achieving mutual satisfaction. Asking your partner for a tender touch can deepen your emotional bond and increase intimacy, strengthening your relationship. Barry and Emily McCarthy, sex educators from the American University, have researched the connection between sex and the quality of the relationship. Their findings show that only about 20% of respondents believe good sex nurtures their connection. On the other hand, 50 to 70% of those dissatisfied with their relationships blame poor sex. To sum up, for satisfied partners, sex is a source of pleasure. For dissatisfied couples, it is an issue. The security level of your emotional connection influences your sex life. Based on your comfort level in a relationship, you will have different aims during sex. Sealed-off sex, solace sex, and synchrony sex. Sealed-off sex focuses on physical satisfaction, ending with orgasm in a perfect case scenario. Partners choose it because they can't open up, and it's easier for them to prioritize sensation over the connection with their loved one. However, the impersonal approach can make the other party feel used. It happens more often to women. Solace sex is an option for those who need constant reassurance. These partners don't feel desired unless their partners prove to them that they are. They don't look for emotional bonds or physical satisfaction during intercourse. They try to fight off anxiety and expect approval. Couples in healthy relationships prefer synchrony sex. This type includes emotional connection and erotic satisfaction. Synchrony sex satisfies all the primary needs, strengthening your bond and bringing pleasure from physical closeness. To make sex intimate, ensure your connection is secure and use conversations and tender physical touch before going to bed. Key point 8. Love lives as long as you and your partner are ready to put in the effort. ARE conversations can nurture your connection to make it stronger. They teach you to be cooperative, search, and increase your affection. They can help take your love into the future, reflect on the danger points of your relationship, and figure out shortcuts that will lead you back to a safe connection. When you find these shortcuts, celebrate as many positive moments as possible, reinforcing your positive impact on each other. Love is like a language. If you speak it, it flows more and more easily. If you don't, then you start to lose it. Sue Johnson, Ph.D. A significant part of keeping your love alive is focusing on and remembering the crucial moments of connection. They help you realize again and again how valuable your relationship is. Rituals can also be helpful, especially when you undergo separation. By using them, you can reassure each other. Rituals could be regular date nights, hugs, vacations, or whatever brings you closer to each other. Moreover, you can help each other recognize your attachment issues and become stronger together. Once you prioritize emotional safety in a conversation, you can speak and listen effectively despite disagreements. You can keep your love alive by simply paying attention to your partner. You must also agree on a resilient relationship story that portrays your unique way of working on your romantic connection. It should include information on how you resolve conflicts in healthy ways. Additionally, you can add ideas for your future. How can your partner help to fulfill your relationship goals? The 7 conversations can transform your perception of love from a Hollywood idea to a long-lasting process of working on an emotional bond. It is a continuous story. Love connection without any effort naturally starts to fade with time. In a fast-changing world filled with distractions, it can be challenging to focus on your love, but it's the only thing that matters in the long run. Conclusion. Love and a partner's support can help you overcome hardships and live a better life. When the bond is solid and secure, it brings meaning to your everyday life. The attachment perspective recognizes that the need for an emotional connection with others is absolute, and this healthy attachment is the basis of any romantic relationship. The 7 conversations highlighted in this summary aim to help you discover yourself and your partner and choose what works best for you. Every relationship is different, and it's only fitting that you try to understand each one thoroughly. Building a strong bond requires open and cooperative communication to deliver your actual needs to your partner so they can respond. Also, you need to learn to accept love and the fact that you are attached to your lover. In romantic relationships, people often hide their needs and fears, deciding not to open up fully to their partner. It takes time to build a steadfast commitment and learn how to fulfill each other's needs, but you must accept that love lasts when you constantly put forth the effort. Attachment is only the basis of a complex construction called love that you build together. Loving relationships affect both partners, their immediate environment, and society. Families with healthy attachments create the fundamentals of a better society that is aware of the importance of love and is eager to work for it. Try this. Describe an unresolved conflict in your relationship and have your partner do the same. Compare notes in a calm environment and see how you can improve. You can also book an appointment with a psychologist to resolve the remaining conflicts. And use journaling to explore triggers and work on your unhealthy patterns in relationships.